Oh, I don't actually remember watching any Olympics when I was a kid. To be honest with you, I've never been one to actually watch sport. I'm very much of a doer, and then once it's on and I'm not doing it, I go out fishing and stuff like that. So my earliest memory is basically my first Olympics, which is in Sydney, and the only way I can describe it is when you're in the Olympic Village, everyone does stuff at the same time. So it's very much like watching the Truman Show, when everything's scripted, everyone goes to work at the same time, everyone comes home and stuff like that. So that's my underlying sort of biggest memory of my first Olympics, was the fact that it was everyone was going in the same direction at the same time. It was almost like a one-way street in the village. But yeah, it was that's probably my first memory. I'm not one to sort of worship. If there was any people that I sort of like idolise, it'd be in a different sport, because I know it sounds selfish, I know it sounds big-headed, but everything someone that, regardless of whether they're high jumper, sprinter, 400 metre runner, 800 metre runner or something, even a marathon runner, I sit there and I look at them and I think they're flesh and blood and I can do it, even though I know full well I can't. I'm too arrogant and ignorant and sort of selfish to admit that people are better than me. That's maybe why I've been hanging on by the skin of my teeth for a few years. But so no, I haven't got any sort of people that I idolise in athletics. I mean, I respect a lot of people, but I don't look up to them as like, oh God. Well, apart from actually when you win, you're a champion for 4 years. It's the oldest, it's the best. It's the Olympics, If you had to ask if you asked any athlete on God's earth which gold medal they'd want to win, and they had a choice of any of them, it'd be the Olympics. And I don't know, because I mean, it's the same people that compete in the Worlds as they are in the Olympics, but there's always that slight 10% extra effort goes into the Olympic year. That's what they always say anyway. Preparations for Beijing started a couple of years ago, to be honest with you, but it's it's stop start with the actual major champs in between. But all the major champs up until Beijing are there for a reason. I won't be targeting Osaka this year simply because my main focus will be Beijing, and I genuinely believe I've got 2 good days left. And I want them to be Beijing, I don't want to peak too soon, don't want to peak too late. So I've had 2 fourth places in the Olympics so far. I hope that Beijing is my 3rd time lucky and I can pick a medal up. Don't care what colour at the moment, just any medal. No, I never look at anyone else. I have to say though, I mean, I don't fear any decathlete. I genuinely think I'm as good as Roman Chevrolet or Tom Papas, the Americans and stuff like that. I genuinely think I can beat them on my day. But I also think that if anyone fears anyone, I've never competed for money. I've never competed when I've not been in shape. So when I'm on that line, people know that I'm in shape. And so I honestly think that they get a little bit more worried about me than I do about them. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what I like to think. So no, I've always said that sometime, somewhere, someday, someone's going to get an arse whooping. And I'm hoping I dish one out in Beijing. I'm hoping. What I'd like to do is, obviously, because my flight and my hotel's paid, I'd like to take the missus over there. That'll be that'll be my big swan song. So I'd like to see the old terracotta soldiers, and I'd like to do a little bit of fishing on the way home as well, because I've heard there's some big fish out in the Far East. But I normally actually fly home pretty soon afterwards, because I'm just so bushed. I mean, I had a shark fishing trip, chartered boat and everything like that after Sydney Olympics, but I got the ump that I came 4th, and I was so tired that I actually cancelled and flew home. So for me, actually, to pull out of a day's fishing is, it just goes to show how much athletics means to me. Well, I've been training in South Africa a few times, and I don't go no more because the culture shock is such a, it's devastating to see a lot of the poverty and stuff like that. But I would have to say the most interesting place I've ever been and competed in would be Russia. I went out there in 1997, and that was my first international, and it was just mind-blowing. I mean, I can't really describe it. The amount of cars out there and the amount of people and Red Square, it was an amazing experience, and probably a little bit sort of thrown in at the deep end for me first international. But I was lucky. I came 2nd, won a nice big silver set, which my mum's still got on the side. So that was the birth of my athletics career. But yeah, I suppose Russia's the most interesting place I've ever been. The ultimate Olympian of all time would have to be, and bearing in mind this is quite difficult for me to say because I'm still gunning for his record and I ain't given up yet, it'd have to be Daley Thompson. To win 2 Olympic golds, to break the world records when he did, and to be on top of the world for as long as he was, especially in a sport as demanding and as difficult as the decathlon. Yeah, I'd have to say Daley. But I ain't given up yet. I'm still snapping at his heels.